I am used to living in the seasons. So when I have my spring, my summer, my fall, I get the things from the garden. I get rhubarb, then I get berries, then I get the vegetables from the garden, the tomatoes. When it comes to January, you live in Iowa, you get one thing in this season and it's usually snow. And you can't do anything with that in the kitchen. Actually, you could make ice cream and use that as the ice. Besides the point. What is in season in January, in February, in the winter is citrus. We love citrus, and you know what? I think we crave it, especially when it's in season like this, because not only is it the ripest, is it beautiful, but it's something fresh and delicious, flavorful, smells amazing. Who does not just want this in their house? So I have tons of lemons because I buy them because they're beautiful. And I'm gonna make a lemon shortbread. Lemon shortbread is so quick and easy. And it's really fun because it just takes a few simple ingredients. It's a delicious kind of almost melt away, kind of cookie-like, just delicious confection that you kind of just crave. It's lighter, it's still sweet, it goes well with coffee, with tea, whatever it is. And it's something you probably don't make all the time. So why not make it? Why not see how easy and delicious it is? We're gonna start making it. So I use a food processor because I just think it's the easiest way to mix everything together. I put my dry ingredients right into that. So we're gonna have our flour. You know, I think people don't understand that shortbread really stands for, the short part of it is fat. So like shortening something that is fat, it makes it so it has a short, crumbly texture because of it has a high ratio of fat. So unlike normal cookies that have a lot lower amount of like maybe the butter to the flour, this has a high amount. So it has a pretty strong amount, which makes it have that crumbly, really kind of just like melt away texture that makes it kind of special. So I'm gonna put my sugar right in there too. And then we're gonna add cornstarch. So to the flour and sugar, the cornstarch is what's really gonna make it a lot lighter. It changes the texture of just flour. It's not quite as dense, not quite as heavy, and it really lightens that whole mixture. So it really is an ingredient that you don't think about being in there, but it makes a big difference. So we're gonna add some salt. You need it to balance it out. Notice I'm not adding any leaveners. I'm not gonna add soda. I'm not gonna add baking powder because you don't really want them in your mixture. So I'm gonna zest my lemons. You know, I like this time of year too because where I live, Michigan, we can't grow citrus actually in the ground. I do have some in pots, but I get like a couple lemons and feel like, you know, I've won the lottery. Meyer lemons this time of year are so beautiful and they smell amazing. Meyer lemons are slightly different than just a regular lemon. They have a thinner skin, but they have just a stronger fragrance, smell, which that is their essential oil. So I'm just using a microplane grater to get all the zest off. I always hold it upside down, which surprises some people, but that's how you catch that zest, and then you don't have to zest it right into your container. So I'm gonna zest the 2 lemons and put them right into my dry ingredients. The second one goes right in there. You usually get about a tablespoon off per lemon. It kind of depends on the size. You don't wanna get the pith. Already smells amazing. So I'm gonna mix that up. The abrasive sugar will actually really help bring the essential oils of that zest out. Already, not only you can smell it mixing with it, it smells so good and so fresh. Exactly what I crave in the winters in Iowa. So I'm gonna add some butter. I just have it chopped up into somewhat smaller pieces. So like I said, the butter in this is gonna be a little bit more. So you wanna use a good quality butter because guess what? You're gonna be tasting the butter. And that means you wanna make sure it's a good butter. So I like to make sure that it's a little bit maybe better one than you would buy usually because the flavor is gonna be better. So I'm gonna put in the juice of 1 lemon too. You don't want a lot of liquid in there, but I do want a little bit more of just that nice tart flavor that just the zest doesn't necessarily give. So I'm gonna add just a little bit, get the juice everywhere, especially when they're a juicy one. And then I'm gonna mix it up again and help it get to just that crumbly short texture. So after it's mixed in, you can see that it's starting just to want to form some clumps, kind of like a pie dough. I pull it out and look how nicely it holds together, but it still has that nice crumbly texture. That's exactly what you want. And it's not near as picky on pie dough since we're not adding lots of liquid to get it to that right texture. It just is gonna be where it's at. So you wanna put it into, you could do it into a small like cake pan if you want to. I like to use a tart pan because they're really easy with a removable bottom then to move. And I have it on a parchment lined sheet because as it bakes, since it has that excess of butter in it, it can sometimes seep a little bit. So I'm gonna pour it right into that cake pan, or tart pan, since that's what I'm using. And make sure that there was none under the blade. You just kinda wanna check. There wasn't, you can tell it was like evenly mixed. So I'm just gonna slowly press this into this pan. You don't wanna do it so hard that you're like fighting it and pushing it down, but this is what is going to create that shortbread. So I'm gonna press it into the pan evenly, and then we'll just finish it up to bake. If it gets hard for you to press down, I'm pretty much done here, but I did put a piece of saran down. And what that allows is it doesn't stick to your hand as much, and you can press it down without kind of the mess of trying to get it off your hand and press it down. It's just kind of whatever works best for you, but it helps it get a little bit more even without kind of the mess of it. See, it's a little bit even sticks to the top of the saran, so that way you don't have to worry about that. So as you're finishing up, you're gonna notice that a lot of shortbreads are pre-cut, and that's because it's kind of pressed in like we did, and it's a little bit harder to cut once it's done, and it could break easier. So if you just go through and kind of nice score the lines you're gonna cut it with, and I'll do it maybe a couple times just to get it a little bit deeper, because they will form back together, but this will also just give it a little bit of a starting point. And I like to always cut mine in 8, so I'm gonna cut across, and then across and across again, so you're cutting it pretty much in quarters. And this works for whatever pan you put it in, and it just makes it be easier in the end. It will come back together, but you'll be able to then to cut it easier. And that's, guys, this is all about ease. What I like about these is they store, so anything that has, you know, a shorter makeup like this does of all the butter, it's a cookie that stores so well. So if you make this ahead and put it in the freezer, it stores for so long in an airtight container in the freezer. And it is just that great consistency and comes out tasting fresh, looking fresh, and that's just what I love. So if we're gonna have it look a little bit more traditional, you can poke your holes in it just like a shortbread would. And there's really no right way to do it or however many you kind of want, but it's kind of the classic look of a shortbread. So I'm gonna go around and do those holes, and we'll finish it up and we'll put it right in the oven. We have the holes poked, we have the lines cut. They may go back together in the oven. We're gonna throw it right in, don't throw it. You want the shortbread to look good. We're gonna put it into our oven. It bakes for quite a while just because it's a dense, you know, the consistency of it's really dense, so it's gonna bake for a while. And then it's gonna come out, we gotta let it cool. Then it's gonna be that crispy, delicious, it's shortbread time soon. So you get the coffee going. We need to have coffee with it or tea, you can have your tea. Then we'll have delicious shortbread. The shortbread has come out of the oven, it's cooled. So when it comes out of the oven, do not worry. It kind of depends sometimes. Sometimes you may not see your lines as well or the holes. Just re-put them in. Even if it looks completely flat and you don't see any of them, just re-score it when it's hot and warm because it'll be easier than when it gets crispy and a little bit more hard and set. So when it comes out of the oven, even if you don't see your lines, re-cut them. Or if you do see them, I would still re-cut them just to make sure. But this is why I like it in a tart pan. Look how easy that is. You can just pull it right out. Super easy. Guys, it just looks, What I love about shortbread is it's simple. You're getting just some good like butter flavors. You're getting just like that sweetness, of course, but then also something with like the lemon is just gonna make it, look at that. It's just a simple, delicious, you know, you can have it with tea, you can have it with coffee. You can even have it, make it into a little bit more of a dessert, put it with some fresh fruit, whatever you need to do. I'm of course just gonna, Okay, what I love about it. The lemon, of course, shines through, especially since I use Meyer lemon. You get a little bit more of that floral Meyer lemon flavor. It is just fall apart and yet stays together and is almost melts in your mouth, which is exactly what you want. Can you imagine it with like maybe a little lemon curd? I love this. This is such a great treat, especially in the winter. It's a little bit lighter on the desserts. I mean, not calorie-wise, but you know, it's just the texture is exactly what you crave. And it gives you that little pop of citrus. It brightens a winter day. If you're looking for something fun, quick, easy, try this shortbread. Super rustic, super home style, completely what you're craving. You know, I'm excited for you guys to try this because I think you're gonna love it. As always, what helps me the most is when you share these videos around, you tag friends, you put them in your stories, but also that just helps so many people see how easy these things are to do. Whether it's cooking, baking, planting outside in the garden. It's easy because if I can do it, you can do it. We can all do it, and the world is gonna be a better place with a cookie. So go make some. Check my website, wiseguy.com, for this recipe, other great recipes. Print the recipe. It's what you wanna do. I'm gonna eat some more because citrus shortbread. Try it.